Hi, my name is Leanne Brunelle, body image coach, health coach, and founder of leannebrunelle.com. Have you ever struggled with emotional eating? I was asked a question earlier this week on what are the best ways to deal with emotional eating. And I know it's something that a lot of us struggle with, especially women, so I wanted to share today about what has helped me the most with my emotional eating. First of all, I want to talk about what emotional eating is and what it's not. Emotional eating is simply a coping mechanism for when we have thoughts, feelings, or situations that we don't yet have the tools to deal with. It is not a horrible character flaw that we've been cursed with. In fact, everybody, even normal eaters, eat emotionally too sometimes. Emotional eating is actually probably responsible for preserving your sanity at some point or other in your life, soothing you and distracting you when things felt really out of control. So it's not actually as horrible as we've been led to believe. Personally, I'd say it's probably a better choice than, say, heroin, but that's just me. Here's the reason why we want to come to a place of peace with our emotional eating. Once we stop shaming and judging ourselves for it, there's a very good chance we'll actually do it less. You see, when we treat emotional eating like it's some dirty, shameful behavior, then when we engage in it, we beat ourselves up for it. We wonder what the F is wrong with us. We think we're a failure on our diet. And when we do this, there are two very likely negative consequences to it. The first one being is that we go from simple emotional eating straight into binge eating. We feel so ashamed about our perceived failure that we continue eating to drown out that inner bitch who's telling us that we're never going to get our shit together. And the other likely result of judging emotional eating is that even if it doesn't end up in binge eating, we still walk away feeling like there's something wrong with us, like we need to be fixed, which erodes our self-esteem and leads us right back into emotional eating. By staying in a place of non-judgment around your emotional eating, you'll find that it stops being the distraction that you've been using it for. And the power food has had over you in the past will start to dwindle. Now, this is not to say that you will never emotionally eat again. There will be times in your life where life is throwing curveballs at you that you don't yet have the tools to deal with. And you'll need something to help you get through those times. So, for example, what happened to me recently is that for whatever reason, my thyroid went completely out of whack and ended up making me feel tired, irritable, and depressed. And as a result, I noticed that sometimes I was eating just to try and help myself feel better. I was super gentle with myself through this process, and I never let guilt or shame seep in. But instead, I focused my energy on doing the things that I could do to help myself start feeling better. In the past, when this had happened, I judged and I shamed myself so harshly that I ended up slipping into a full-on depression. I continued using food to cope with my feelings of shame and definitely had no motivation to go out and do self-care things like exercise. And I stayed caught in this cycle for months. So the lesson here is to just gently accept your emotional eating. Refuse to hop on the shame roller coaster, and before you know it, you'll get to a place where your emotional eating just dies down naturally. By not getting caught up in the drama you associate with emotional eating, you give yourself space to actually deal with your life rather than distracting yourself from it. So here is what I'd like you to do for homework. Notice when you want to emotionally eat, and then get really curious about why. You can ask yourself questions like, what am I feeling? And what do I most need in this moment? And simply do your best to figure out how to satisfy those needs. Be kind and compassionate, just like you would for someone else you cared about who was going through the same thing. One thing to keep in mind here, you may still need to emotionally eat as you start learning the new tools on how to best look after yourself. And you need to work on being okay with that. If you can stay in that place of non-judgment of your eating, as well as learn new ways to care for yourself, you'll find that you'll not only heal your relationship to food, you'll also heal your relationship to yourself. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.